Good evening. Our LDT 7310 Learning Management System Design Project is titled Communication Upgrade. Two Moms and a Dad design team is comprised of Sarah Pakala, Hassan Ozir, and Jennifer Tab. As a part of our Learning Management System Design Project, each member of the team reviewed 3 different learning management systems. We reported our findings to the team and identified the various design problem themes. The design problem that we saw most frequently across various platforms was effective communication, as illustrated in these sketches. One of the most important learner needs is instructor-student communication. It is important that a LMS includes effective, efficient, functional, user-friendly features pertaining to the collaborative nature that is an instructor-student relationship. Therefore, we focused our LMS communication design improvement on the Google Classroom platform. As you will see later in this presentation, our changes were to the discussion thread, an inclusion of a chat box feature, and integration of Google Drive into the assignment submission feature. We identified these changes based on a team consensus following the review of our individual design problem sketches. So before we could make our improvements to our Google Classroom, we first identified our target audience. Due to the current national climate, many students are using learning management systems like Google Classroom. Therefore, we wanted to focus on students who were most likely to use the system, high school age students. As a team, we developed 4 personas and scenarios, including 3 high school age students and 1 teacher. So for the purpose of this presentation and our prototype, we will focus on 1 student, Ali A. Ali A is a 10th grade student. He resides in Dearborn, Michigan, and he's a first-generation immigrant. Both of his parents are born in the Middle East, and he loves football and basketball. So some of his constraints are that he lacked focus in education. He's been working since a young age, and he's certainly a spoiled young man. So his motivators are that he's a good athlete, he's popular, and he likes to be the center of attention. And so we selected the following design improvements in an effort to increase student-instructor communication and interactions.
The first item we wanted to focus on was a discussion post being able to communicate about course activities and assignments throughout the course. Here we focused on adding a discussion feature to the LMS. As you can see here, it takes you to the discussion section, allows you to pick on which discussion and become a part of the conversation, as well as giving clear and direct feedback on a completion of a discussion post.
Assignments are one of the ways that learners are evaluated in courses. Our design allows learners to easily upload assignments. They click on the assignment tab and select the assignment that they wish to submit. Each assignment gives detailed instructions and the rubric, so the learner knows what is expected to receive full points. Once they click on the Submit assignment, access to Google Drive pops up. A window that shows all the documents in the learner's Google Drive comes up, and the learner will click on the document they want to submit. Once they have selected the correct document, the learner will click on the Submit button. And confetti falls across the screen to show the learner that the assignment has been submitted and it is ready to be reviewed and graded by the instructor.
This is our initial prototype draft for the chat box feature. We included a chat box because Google has the Google Chat feature. However, it was not originally integrated into the Google Classroom. This feature may increase student-instructor communication because it would allow a direct line of communication rather than the traditional email interaction. So we placed our chat box in the upper left corner of the screen in order to increase visibility and enhance memorability. Most learning management systems have the navigation streams to the left of the page. So on this page, the user would click on the chat box and it would pop up on the same screen in the lower right corner, the traditional placement for chat boxes and LMSs. Once the user, in this case Ali A, has entered his text to send a chat to his instructor, he would click the arrow link to submit the text. When the recipient of the chat receives and responds to the text, the user, Ali, would receive a notification in the form of a red circle with the number of unseen chats. And once the user, Ali A, clicks on the chat box, it again populates to the lower right corner of the screen with the text response. Ali can then add his text to the chat thread. And here, Ali will click on the arrow once again to submit his chat response, and the pop-out of the chat will no longer be displayed.
We asked 2 different people in our targeted age group, high school students, to test our prototype. We briefly explained the purpose of our LMS and observed them as they clicked through our prototype. Once they were finished, we asked for their feedback. The user said that the design of the discussion page was not aesthetically pleasing and that when the red boxes were not present, they did not understand where to click to navigate to the next screen. The second user also said that the LMS lacked fun features and colors. It was also difficult for them to navigate because it was unclear where to click. They also thought that the chat box should be moved to the lower right corner because it was the location that they were accustomed to in other sites. We addressed both users' feedback in our final prototype.
Some of the revisions we made prior to our final prototype, taking into account the feedback of the user tests, we made the prototype more aesthetically pleasing and matched it to the rest of the interface. We added more color and updated graphics to make it more appealing to young learners. We made the input location consistent for ease of use and less confusion. Now we'll go through our final chat prototype to give an example of what it would be like. Once the LMS is open, all you have to do is click on the chat icon, which will pull up the box. Type in your question, click submit, and wait for a response. Once there's a response, it'll be indicated on the chat box. Once again, click on the chat box, read the response, you can reply, and then submit.